Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with yet another video of the AZ Sports Fan. Thank you so very much for tuning in, guys. This game was a roller coaster ride from the very beginning. I cannot believe we are now sitting 5-2 and we beat the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I know there's a lot of you guys out there that always had the faith in the Arizona Cardinals, such as I did as well. So this game is for every single one of you guys. This game is for all the fans that have blood, sweat, and tears and having terrible seasons. This is what the game is for, guys. I am so stoked and so happy that this game turned out the way that it did. Now, I do have some subscribers that I'm going to go ahead and get chiming in. One of them, his name is Bance, and then the other one is Richie from last week. I'm going to go ahead and have him back in here so we can go ahead and start talking some Arizona Cardinals, exactly what went wrong, what we didn't like, what we did like. Obviously, we got the win. We're now 5-2, baby. That's all we can go ahead and say. So let's go ahead and bring our first subscriber in here. It's none other than Bance. What is going on, dude? How are you doing, my friend?
Doing all right, man. Like, this game was insane. I thought, I don't know. I'm just speechless by this game, just with how intense it was, on both sides. It was just a great game. Whether we won or lost, I was just super, stoked on this game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This game was one of those where, especially in overtime, there was very questionable stuff done by the head coach, but regardless, we ended up getting the win, and the Arizona Cardinals are now sitting 5-2. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is just go ahead and just do a recap of the entirety of the game, exactly like what happened, what went wrong. Now, one thing I want to mention here, and I feel like it's a big, I guess, I don't know about issue, but something that we've been seeing a lot from this Arizona Cardinals team. It's basically starting off slow. Now, this is happening every single game so far. Now, obviously, if we get the win, it's not a big deal. But playing a team like Seattle Seahawks, it's obvious that starting slow was not in the favor because we were down throughout that entire game. Only until the end of the last of the fourth quarter, then we end up tying it. But what's going on with this Cardinals? Why do you think we're starting off so slow, in your personal opinion?
I think it's just, I think Kliff is just focusing too much on the other team and not focusing on us. He's trying to get a read on them and just kind of neglecting our tactics. He's just thinking too much. And I think fear is playing a big thing in it. Cause the Seattle Seahawks, they were number one in the whole league. And it's just they're just a tough team to play against. For the past, I don't know how many years our rivalry has been, but it's the second year against them. And I think he's just trying to get a read on them, and it's just not working. And then once we get our momentum going, he kind of gets his confidence back.
Right. No, absolutely, man. Now, this is a huge win. Now, I actually took a picture of the Sunday Night Football broadcast. Everybody that's sitting on there, they make their picks. Who you think is going to win? Seattle, Cardinals. I took a picture because I was disgusted that one person picked the Arizona Cardinals. It might be two, but I think it was just one. Now, obviously, the national people are going to pick the hyped up team. They're going to pick the team that has done it already, and rightfully so. But man, all those people were completely wrong, and I'm so glad to finally say the Arizona Cardinals won at home against the Seattle Seahawks, being 5-2, man.
It's been what? It's been 8 years?
It's been a long time, man.
It's been 8 years since we won in our own home stadium, which is finally. It just feels super good to win against them here.
Absolutely, man. I'm right there with you. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about this game. Obviously, we started off, I believe the score was 10-0 at one point. It was the starting off really slow. The Arizona Cardinals ended up getting things going. A couple things that I was concerned with, and I actually run a chat called Flip Chat that a lot of people, a lot of fans are able to join in and talk, especially real time. One thing that I've noticed that a lot of people are saying is that Patrick Peterson needs to get cut. A lot of people were bashing him in all this different stuff. Now, I get where the frustration comes from, especially because how he got burnt. Now, we talked just a little bit before we started the stream. I think you mentioned something very great about not so much being Patrick Peterson's fault, but it was a dime. It was a great pass. So let us know, in your opinion here, about Patrick Peterson. Are you happy with him? Are you not happy? What's your opinion, man?
I'm happy with him. He's still one of the top corners in the league, hands down. I don't see many corners playing with tenacity he does. This game, all those big throws that Russell did on him, they were just so perfect. I don't think anybody could have covered them as well as he did. He was right there, inches from stopping both those big plays. And it really wasn't his fault. I mean, I think he covered them as best as any corner could against Russell Wilson and Lockett. And well, Metcalf didn't actually do well this game, but Lockett was just insane this game. And that like connection between Lockett and Wilson, it's pretty hard to go against from any team.
Yeah, man. Honestly, he's known to have those moon balls, and man, he places them right on the dime. So I agree with you. I agree with you. It's not Patrick Peterson's fault, but I can see in a scenario because football is such an emotional time. Now, I know my wife looks at me all the time when I'm watching a game and I'm jumping around. I'm going through emotions. It's like, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm sad. She's like, what's going on? I was like, I don't even know right now. So this is the beauty of the football, a football season is that you just go through these round of emotions that I don't know, man. It's just so crazy. I like Patrick Peterson. I don't know if he's going to continue to be an Arizona Cardinal after this offseason. It's remained to be seen, but we'll see what happens. Do you think that we'll re-sign Patrick Peterson at least for like another year or two, or do you think he's done?
He might have one more year. I mean, I would like to see him maybe one more year. I would like to see the rest of the season and how well it goes, but I think he's playing super well, one for his age. He's a bit like he's an old corner. Not many corners can last as many years. I mean, like there's Josh Norman and all them, but you see all those big corners like in their later years, they're not producing as when they were younger, but they're still lockdown corners. Like they're not young and they can still do their job. It's just like, I think people are just like having too many expectations. They want
the shutdown.
They want a Ramsey. They want someone who's young, fast, and just like is super energetic and can make those cool plays. But I think Patrick Peterson is a good corner to have to mentor all these younger corners. Because look at Byron Murphy this game. Byron Murphy was a lockdown corner this game. Good. And I think he's just a good person to have as a role model for all future corners. So I would like to keep him just to have that knowledge that he has. It's kind of like Fitzgerald too.
Right. Okay. No, I like that. I like that. So we actually have Richie in the house. Thank you so much for showing up, man. Thank you so much. So yeah, let's talk about this a little bit. Richie, if you just chimed in right now, but we were just talking about Patrick Peterson because I do run a Flick chat, which is like a group chat where everybody's able to talk. And one thing I've noticed a lot was everybody saying that Patrick Peterson's just getting too old. I want to let you, what's your opinion on this? Do you want to keep him? Do you not want to keep him? What's your thoughts?
Wait, first, can you hear me all right?
Oh, I can hear you perfectly, man.
All right, so basically, at least from tonight, what I saw, if you look closely on those 2 touchdowns, that was honestly, in my opinion, pretty good coverage. I mean, he was all over the receiver. That was just a perfect ball by Russell Wilson. I mean, he's had his ups and downs this year. Would I re-sign him? If the price is right, yes, I'd extend him. But, I mean, if not, I wouldn't. It all depends on what the price is because he's still a solid cornerback, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bance said exactly the same thing as you, that we just kind of need to be more kind of patient with him. It's not so much that it was his fault that he got burnt twice. It was just a perfect pass from Russell Wilson, being that he is the MVP and that he can throw those moon balls that just get down like beautiful. And I hope one day that Kyler can do that. Obviously, Russell Wilson has 6-7 years more of experience than Kyler Murray. But man, how exciting is now that the Arizona Cardinals are 5-2. Give me your initial reactions. We heard Bance. Let's hear what you have to say, Richie. What was your initial reaction going to overtime and all this different stuff? What you got?
Well, I believe we were down by 10 points with about 4 or 5 minutes in the game. At that point, I was like, all right, we still have a chance, but this game's most likely over, but I'm not giving up because, we go down, get 7, and then we can stop Seattle and we can get a field goal. But I was like, the odds of that happening aren't very high. I believe we got lucky because Seattle had a penalty on a field goal. And once that happened, I was like, you know what? We're meant to get a touchdown this drive. You're doing that. Once we get the touchdown, we get the ball back. And then that amazing drive to get the game-tying field goal, I was like, all right, we have to win this game now. And then in overtime, when Zane Gonzalez missed that field goal, I honestly thought that the game was over. I was like, you give the ball back to Russell Wilson. I'm like, this game's over. And then Isaiah Simmons, who they should have been playing more this entire season, steps up big and makes the game-winning interception. I feel so happy for him. The fact that he made the game-winning play, he deserves it after all being benched, making a few mistakes against the 49ers. That play proved what he can do and what he can be for this team. And he stepped up big time in overtime. And when he made that play, I was just screaming at my TV. I was like, oh my gosh, Isaiah Simmons out of all people makes this play. That pick was worth
Right.
it. He
Well,
proved it was worth it.
Here's the thing real quick. We kind of jumped into the OT, but one thing I wanted to mention here real quick. We talked about Patrick Peterson. Let's talk about Kliff Kingsbury real quick. The decision to go for it at fourth down. You know, when we get Budda Baker getting that amazing almost pick six, but you see DK Metcalf just running after him like what's that one guy Usain Bolt? Like, what the heck did you come from? I think Budda Baker was looking and was like, what the heck? This guy he came out of nowhere. Let me just say that. It's not Budda Baker's fault. He did everything he possibly can, but he came out of nowhere, and that was the unfortunate. Would you guys have gone for the field goal, or would you have gone for the touchdown? Let's hear Bance first.
I would have gone for the points, honestly, because I mean, we were what was the score at that point? It was 17-7, right?
I think it was 17. Oh man, that's a great question.
I think we were down by 10.
Yeah, we're down by 10. Yep, you're right.
So 17-7, and I would have. Oh no, it was 7. It was 14. No, wait, what was it?
I think it was 17.
It was 17. Okay, but anyways, we should have gone for the points because, like, in hindsight, like we wouldn't have gone to overtime. We would have won by 3. So it's like you never know in hindsight. Like, I understand what Kliff was trying to do because we usually do well on fourth down and 3-yard conversions, but it's just like against Seattle, it's just like a high stake little. I don't know. It was too much of a high stake for us.
Okay, so you think you should have gone for the field goal, right?
Yeah, especially, I mean, I felt bad for Budda because, like, after that insane pick, like, it reminded me of the scene off of Terminator 2, where that Terminator, like, just running.
Dude, you're like, what? You're talking about that metal dude, right? That's just
the metal dude, yeah.
Dude, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Richie, I want to hear what you have to say. Would you have gone for it, the field goal, or would you have gone for the points like Kliff did?
Personally, I can understand where you're coming from, but I was in favor of going for it because, I mean, yeah, it's a chip shot field goal. You're not going to miss it. But in my opinion, you take the 3 points, right? I think Seattle still comes out of that like, oh, you know, they have the momentum because they held us to 3 when we were at, like, what's the 6-yard line at first and goal. So I think either way, if you make the field goal, Seattle still has momentum. And say we get the touchdown, we have momentum. Now we didn't, so obviously they got the momentum. But if you take the field goal, they're getting it either way. With fourth and goal, it's a 50-50. And with Seattle's defense, I mean, I think it was the right decision by Kliff. But in hindsight, obviously, I would have taken the 3. But at the moment, yeah, I was all in to go for it because of how good we are on fourth down.
Exactly. And I'm right there with you too. And that's not saying that Bance is wrong. Everybody has different mindsets. And obviously Kliff Kingsbury decided to go for it. My mind was like, go for it. That's exactly what I thought in my mind. Now, was it the right play call? Probably not. But regardless, we live and die from what the coach's decisions are. Now, that could have definitely been a momentum changer. We could have looked at a different game, but like you said, hindsight 2020, maybe what happens if you would have missed it? Then we would have said, why don't you go for it? So we never know what's going to go on, but all we know is that we're 5-2 on the season now. And all these national people are going to be, oh, have you heard of the Cardinals? They're actually doing really good now. And that's what's going to frustrate me the most. Yeah, but let's move on here. Now that Budda Baker got robbed because he should have had a pick 6, but let's talk a little bit about DeAndre Hopkins, man. There was a dime pass, the very first touchdown that Kyler Murray threw, which was really weird because everybody was frozen in place for like a second. I don't think anybody knew, and I don't think Kyler Murray knew the ball was coming to him. And he chucked the ball down the field, and D-Hop does what he does and came down with that ball. Let me know your guys' initial reaction. Did you like what we're doing, at least on that thing, because we need to throw the ball more? Or what did you guys think? Let's go Richie first.
Okay.
Well, that specific play, that's what we need to start seeing more of, a deep ball to DeAndre Hopkins, especially against this depleted Seattle defense. I mean, I forgot who went out with an injury, and I don't know when, but I believe one of their cornerbacks went out sometime in the first half or something like that.
I think it was Shaquille. Shaquille, one of them.
But, like, at the end of the day, against any defense, I'm taking DeAndre Hopkins against any corner in the league, and that's just me. But especially against Seattle, short routes, but just keep doing short routes and then hit him with a deep ball, and when they're not expecting it, when they play press on him. And if they don't play press, just, take the short routes and let him get first downs. So I thought it was a great call, and it was a really good throw by Kyler. And DeAndre Hopkins on the sidelines, I mean, he's so good at getting both feet in bounds. It's like if he makes a catch by the sidelines, you don't even have to review it. He had both feet in. And I
Oh yeah.
just love seeing that. I mean, I guess it goes down to Kliff Kingsbury, finally, maybe these screen passes every 2 plays aren't going to, help us that much. And finally going deep when you have the best wide receiver in football, maybe the
Mhm.
best deep threat in football. It's just fine. Like, thank you, Kliff, for, just changing your play calling. And, I see him learning through the season.
Perfect. Let's go with Bance before we start talking about screenplays because I'm going to go off on that one. So let's
Oh
go with
yeah,
Bance
that.
first about the DeAndre Hopkins, how amazing he is. Let's go.
So that specific play was so funny because one, it showed how good Kyler is because he threw that ball without laces. It was just the pigskin, which was insane of a throw without the laces. And what was funny, like the replay, you can just see Kyler smile. Like it was just like, oh, he knew like that was gonna be a touchdown. Like that was like that's gonna be like a GIF for like ever. Just like Kyler smiling right before he threw that because he knew it was gonna be a touchdown. So like I think Kyler knows DeAndre's potential. I think lately it's just right now DeAndre's actually injured, right? He has a foot injury.
Here's the thing with DeAndre Hopkins. He always has a foot injury. Yep. I don't think he likes to practice. I legit don't think that he does. He doesn't.
Oh, I agree.
Think he doesn't need to practice. I think he thinks he's that hot stuff. And I want to use another word right now, but that he doesn't have to practice. But rightfully so. If you're still doing exactly what you're doing, I don't care. I mean, obviously, the benefit of practicing is because you need to get, your chemistry with Kyler, all that different stuff. But if you're doing what you're doing without practicing, shoot, imagine what he's going to be when he is practicing. But I don't think he wants to practice. I honestly, that's deep in my heart.
Like, but there's like some plays where I saw him limping for a second. Like it was just worrying me because like, which onto the screenplays just worry me insanely because I just feel like DeAndre's going to get hurt on those. Like, I know he's one of the best receivers after catch, like run after catch, but it's a little like worrisome just to see him do that. Like that's how we got that fumble from him.
Right.
It was just that screen, and then he just got hit pretty hard, and the ball just went flying, and you can see him limping a little bit afterwards. But he's a tough guy. He's super like devoted to like winning and playing this game, which I commend him for.
Right, and I completely agree. Yeah, let's switch over here to the screenplays. Now, we didn't see as much screenplays, or I would have been bald by the end of this game, but we did see some screenplays that really, really turned momentum for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, there was one of them that I really remember really vividly, not the fumble, we'll get to that one, but there was 3 wide receivers out this way, and it was obvious that it was going to be I think it was like second, and it was less than 10. It was like 2nd and 7, something along those lines. But there were 3 wide receivers out here. Obviously, it's going to go to DeAndre Hopkins. No, I'm sorry, 2 tight ends and DeAndre Hopkins. It was Daniels, and I forgot the other guy. But
it was a bubble, yeah.
KJ Wright pretty much burns through all of them and knocks them down. Now, that actually took us to 3rd and 12 or 3rd and 14, something along those lines. And that was just so terrible. It's so trying too much of a cutesy type play that I'm so sick of seeing those plays because it's obvious, man. You see 2 tight ends and a wide receiver, everybody's going to think, oh, they're going to go screenplay. Now let's talk about the next one where DeAndre Hopkins gets another screenplay. He does a little too much. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a little too much for him, and he ends up getting the ball out of his hand as well. Now that was frustrating as well. Now, do you guys think that we're seeing less screenplays and Kliff Kingsbury is getting the memo, or do you think they're just going to keep rolling as it goes? We'll go with Bance first.
So like the first quarter, there was just too many unwanted screenplays. Like it was the second drive, we did a screen pass on 3rd down, which is like, why are we doing a bubble screen on 3rd down when we could just do a slant or do a curl for the first 10? It was like 3rd and 8, and we decided to go for a screen, which they completely blew up. It's just Kliff. He's playing a little too safe. I feel like he's, like I said earlier, like fear just plays in a big factor in what he does. Like the field goal, I don't know why we kicked it on 2nd down. Like, I think it's just his fear that's taking control of his play calling, which I think he should try and get over as quick as possible because it's not going to work if he just plays with fear all the time.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Richie, what you got?
I agree 100%. I mean, I think he's a little, he doesn't want to lose his job, like do anything stupid, like I guess you could say. But I mean, you have to take risks in football. I mean, you can't just play safe. I mean, you can play safe to an extent, but you have to take deep shots. And I still don't think he's doing that enough, although we are seeing it more, which is a good thing. I mean, against the Seattle defense, I mean, anything you can do really is more than likely going to work. But I mean, the screens, even the Seattle defense, you saw they were starting to blow them up. I mean, and you're putting DeAndre Hopkins at risk, even though he's probably one of the toughest receivers in the NFL. That you don't need to, do that. Like, and on that specific play, you can blame the tight ends for not blocking. I mean, they need to block. You can't just let, I believe it was KJ Wright, get around you without even an effort. I mean, that's
Right.
embarrassing. When I saw the replay, I'm like, I mean, come on. I mean, I could block better than that.
Right. And did you
I
see
mean,
Kyler? Kyler got so upset. There was a pan shot. Well, Kyler's like, "What the hell are you doing?" He was like yelling at. And then if you
I
look
saw
over
that.
what Daniels was doing, he was like flexing for a little bit. But you know darn well that like that was your assignment. You had one person in KJ Wright pretty much blew through all of them, both of them, and that's really weird and unfortunate. I get he's a big guy, but you have two tight ends there, and it was just a blow up, and that's just really frustrating. I hope we don't see any more screens, maybe one or two, but those ones really kind of got me head scratching and really upset. Now let's shift over here to the there was also a pick from Patrick Peterson. Now a lot of people are saying, Patrick Peterson too slow, he's getting up there in age, get rid of him. Man, it was another moon ball, and he actually tiptoed, and that was actually pretty amazing. So kudos for him. That was a shift momentum, but how unfortunate that Kyler Murray comes out after that great interception when everything's coming to shifted over us and throws an interception.
Yeah.
And it was such a terrible interception. It went over the head of, was it Andy Isabella by miles, and it goes into the hands of their safety. It's super unfortunate. Do you think this is something that he can fix? Because time after time, he's throwing those balls that are like flying over the receivers, especially a small wide receiver like Andy Isabella. Let's start off with Richie.
So you bring up that play, and when I saw that, if we lost this game, that was the play. That was going to be the reason for it, in my opinion, because Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions in this game. At that point, that was his second. Patrick Peterson made a great catch, getting both feet in bounds, which is a lot harder than it looks to do. And I thought, okay, this game, this is where the momentum swings. You intercept Russell Wilson for the second time, which you're lucky if you get one out of him in a game. Right. And to see Kyler miss that throw to Isabella, I was like, I mean, you can't give the ball back to Russell Wilson after a mistake. You're lucky if you get an interception, and to just give the ball away like that. And it would be different if it was like a tip or something and they caught it, but it was just a horrendous throw by Kyler Murray. I mean, he played really well this game, but I mean, that one mistake, you can't afford to make that mistake against any team, to be quite honest with you, because that's just, you just can't do that in the NFL. And I think he will improve with time, but he's got to learn quick. That's for sure.
I agree. Bance, what you got, man?
So yeah, like that pick, it was just super unfortunate. Like I think Kyler was just super energetic after that pick, and just, I don't know what he was thinking, but I think he was just kind of like, I think him and Kliff are not clicking very well. On play calls and the mentality. Like Kliff is too safe, and then Kyler is just like trying to do like Russell Wilson stuff. Like it's just like you have to wait a little bit and develop a little bit more to make those kind of throws. But I think Kyler's just a little too ahead of himself, but he does have the talent. It's just he needs to get his like mentality like in check a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. Now, I did see, you did tell me that you're going to get the stats. So you're my stat guy, man. Let me know what this looks like, because obviously I think everybody knows that Russell Wilson got 3 interceptions. How amazing that he didn't throw that many interceptions coming into this game, being 5-0, and he's got 3 with our defense, man. Let me know Russell Wilson's stats first.
So Russell Wilson, he threw for 50, and then he completed 372 yards. And his average rate, his QB rating was an 84.
84. So what was the touchdowns to interceptions again?
It was 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
Woo-wee. Nice.
Boy.
Okay, what's Kyler looking like?
So Kyler actually did way better. Well, not way, but did better. 34. He threw for 40. He threw 48 and then completed 34. And then he averaged 7.5 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a rating of 104.
Wow.
Jeez.
That is amazing, man. And just look at it this way. Being the second year coming into the NFL, you got to have some sort of respect on Kyler Murray's name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at this point, coming into the season, like, there were so many people out there. And I mean so many people because obviously I make videos, I make content for YouTube and for everybody to kind of share my opinion. And there's so many people coming on here and just disrespecting Kyler Murray flat right. They don't see Cardinal games like we do, like every second snap, they don't bleed. They go based off what these big national people are saying, like Kyler Murray's too short, he's overthrowing balls. Now, obviously, this is happening because we're seeing this on real time, but this was a perfect opportunity being back-to-back primetime, demolishing the Dallas Cowboys and beating a 5-0 team in the Seattle Seahawks, man. Mm-hmm. Can we just give a quick golf clap to this amazingness of like being 5-2 right now? Like, that's so this amazing. Right.
Perfect. I want to highlight the defense right now. Like, the defense came to play this game. Like, even though we have like so many hurt players, like they did their job, and especially Hassan Reddick, he played for his spot. I mean, we just signed Marcus Golden, which is, I love Marcus Golden. I love him returning, but it's just like you can see Hassan just playing for his position, and he showed up and he did his job like 100% perfect, which I'm super glad to see Reddick and Golden, and it's just like it's going to be a good linebacker core, especially now with Isaiah Simmons playing better. And I really hope like our secondary can like heal up and become a little bit, because like even Budda Baker's a little hurt after this game.
Yeah,
and Budda Baker played amazingly. Byron Murphy played amazingly. I just think we need another corner or another form of safety, like another safety, just to like switch out, because our defense is getting a little tired too. So I think we should sign Tony Jefferson as well. That's just for another topic, but like,
right.
I would love to bring back Tony Jefferson just to help out with this amazing defense right now, because they're playing super well, and we're rated. I think we are number 2 in the red zone right now. In terms of being like a defense, like as far as stat wise goes, it's really weird because like we were listed off as a very, very good defense as far as points goes and all that different stuff. But Russell Wilson, and we got to give it to Russell. Russell Wilson is MVP caliber. This guy is playing like his head and his butt is on fire, man. This guy is a really, really good quarterback. So yes, we did give up a lot of yards. Yes, Patrick Peterson seemed like he lost a step because he was getting beat by a very, very speedy wide receiver in Tyler Lockett. But when the plays needed to be made, they were made, especially with Hassan Reddick. You're right with that. There was another person there was Byron Murphy had a sack as well. They actually kind of covered, like it looked like it was going to be like a zero blitz coming through. And then people pulled back, and who came in? Byron Murphy came and tackled him down. So we got to give it to him, man. There's not a lot of people that are saying Hassan Reddick, good job for him, but I do want to give him kudos. I was having him as my highlight for the player. Now, if you were going to give me one MVP for the entirety of the defense, who would it be? Let's start off with Richie.
Ooh, that's a really tough question.
It is.
Hope
it's different.
I'm torn between either Budda or Hassan, and I'm gonna take Budda Baker, even though it seems like a cop out. But I mean, because that goal line interception, although he didn't return it for a touchdown, because I mean, credit to DK Metcalf, he's just. I mean, that's an effort play. He could have just, hung his head and just stood there, but no, he gave an all-out effort, which he deserves credit for. But I mean, Budda playing with a cast on his hand, somehow making these interceptions is just amazing in itself, and running it all the way back. That was really a momentum change in the game. You can see him. I believe he had a few big hits. I remember one on a running back where the running back like fell back a yard or two. I mean, it's the plays like that gets the defense that's like really tired, a bolt of energy. And that helps a lot. I mean, I think Budda Baker's the best player on this defense, and he showed it again. As good as the rest of the defensive players played, especially Hassan. I'll give it to Budda.
I agree, man. I definitely agree. Let's go ahead and move on to banter real quick. Just real quick, because the next 30 minutes, we're going to go ahead and specifically designate it for the people who super chat in. So go ahead and let me know who your MVP is, my friend.
So MVP is going to be Reddick. I feel like he had the least mistakes. Budda played amazing, but I feel like there was a couple like little sus plays, like especially with the head-to-head contact one where he put his crown down, which that was, I don't know why Budda did that, but so like Budda played amazing, like still played amazing. Byron played amazing. Like our defense just came to this game, even though like it was a high-scoring game. Against Russell Wilson, which is he's like number one contender for MVP. So
yeah. I agree, man. I completely agree. One thing that kind of concerned me about our defensive line, and it really was a game that we seemed like we needed Chandler Jones, because the fact that we just didn't get a lot of pressure unless we were sending an obvious blitz. We weren't getting a lot of pressure, and that was kind of concerning for me on my end. But let's read here what is it? Ala Dre, go ahead, gave us a super chat here, or at least to the channel. $2.99. Thank you so very much, my friend. He says Simmons needs to play more. Period. Now, obviously, this is definitely something that we talked about earlier in the stream about Isaiah Simmons coming up with amazing clutch interception and pretty much kind of tying a bow for this win here. Do you guys want to see more Isaiah Simmons? If so, in what position? Let's start off with Bance.
That's a tough one because I think Simmons, he can play super well at middle linebacker, kind of like a hybrid. He reminds me a lot of Deion Buchanan, which Deion Buchanan was amazing. He played like a safety, but he was a middle linebacker, which super fast, super quick, and you can see that freakish play he made. Like it looked like he was on the blitz. He immediately turned backwards and then caught that pick, which I feel like it was like 13 feet up in the air, and he just jumped up and like snagged it. Like
this dude's huge. Yeah,
it was just insane. Like how the reaction time was just like insane. Like so, I would love to see him play more. I would hope that Vance Joseph figures out a system to kind of rotate the defense, because now with Marcus Golden coming back in, I feel like with our limited defensive line, we should kind of play like a 3-4, which we should have 3 front and kind of have Marcus Golden kind of filling that spot for Chandler Jones as a rushing, like a defensive end, and then having Simmons in the middle with Reddick and with Hicks, and just kind of like switching Simmons with a safety, like back and forth.
Okay. All right, Richie, would you like to see more Isaiah Simmons? And if so, where at?
I mean, I really think we need to start putting him in a lot more because, I mean, as you saw, I mean, yeah, it was just, one interception, but that interception was, just a glimpse of what he could do.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the play of the game in overtime to me. And I mean, if we put him out there, I mean, obviously he's going to make, some rookie mistakes. It happens like in week 1 against the 49ers. But I think Vance Joseph or whoever made the decision to start playing him less after week 1, I think it was because of those mistakes. But I just don't agree with it because he's how old is he? 20, 21? I don't know his exact age.
Yeah.
He's very young. And I mean, so what? He had one bad game at San Francisco. That's not a reason, not playing the rest of the season. That's really, I think that's really naive by Vance Joseph. And that if he doesn't start putting him in more, regardless of how we do this year, I think I wouldn't say fire him, but I think he should be, reevaluated. Like we draft this guy with the 8th pick and you're playing him like 15% of set snaps. It's not really a good look. As good as Devondre Campbell is, I think we need to start phasing in Isaiah Simmons more, even though Campbell's really good. I think Campbell and Isaiah Simmons should, share snaps. I agree. Isaiah Simmons should be on the field at least maybe half the game, let's just say. I'm not saying put him out there the whole game, but, a combination of him and Campbell, 50-50, I think would be really beneficial to both of them, actually.
Okay, perfect. No, and I completely understand where you guys are coming from. So quick shout out to Cardinal Sin, got a $30 donation. He says, man of my word, let's go. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. A quick dab to you, my friend. We also got another $4.99 dono from Big Will. It says 5-2. They doubted us. Isaiah Simmons, baby, with exclamation points all around. So this is something that I wanted to talk about here real quick. Something that the announcers have noticed and that I've noticed that the personnel for the defense, our starters, seem to have taken a seat and putting people in, like obviously Isaiah Simmons. Was it Kylie Fitz was in? Tanner Vallejo was in a couple different snaps. Honestly, what I took it as was the coaching staff saying, "Hey, if you guys aren't going to do your dang job, we're going to go ahead and put people out here that are hungry." And honestly, I want to command either if it was Vance Joseph, if it was somebody up there, maybe whoever is pulling the strings, I don't know what it is, but commanding them, like, thank you so much for doing that, because those were the guys that were hungry that made the plays out there, especially Isaiah Simmons being key and clutch and getting that awesome interception from Russell Wilson, man. So any thoughts on that, guys, as far as, because Jordan Hicks was obviously not on the field for a good amount of that fourth quarter, at least like the end of the towards of it. Did you guys notice it, Vance?
Yeah, I noticed it. Like, I think Vance Jeff is starting to figure, like, kind of like what I was saying, there needs to be more rotation, especially within our defense, with how fast our offense plays. Like, it's really tiring on defense, and you can see how like their energy just goes way down, and they're not producing.
Mhm.
And then we should give more time to other players like Vallejo and Simmons, who are fresh. They're energetic, and they can handle this tired Seahawks. Like
Yeah.
you can see on that last drive, it was just like the Seahawks were tired, and we have enough. I feel like we have enough talent in our depth to where we can do that. And
Right.
it's just like Vance Joseph. I was like studying his like defensive tactics. Like Vance Joseph.
Oh, think we lost Vance. All right, we're
Oh,
go ahead and
no.
go with Richie here. No worries, man. You're good. Go ahead.
As he was saying, I agree with the point he was making. Like those players stepping up, the backups. I mean, they're hungry. They want to play. They
Yeah.
want to make the team and get more snaps. And I really just believe that the defense gets really gassed when the offense is running at such a high pace. And it's just, you need to put the backups in more. Like I even noticed Angelo Blackson. I mean, I saw him getting pushed on the defensive line like from time to time. I don't know. He didn't really make a sack or even, pressure Wilson a lot, but I noticed him getting some pressure on the inside, which was nice to see. And it's little things like that, you might not always get the sack or the pressure, but just, giving it all you have and doing your best is what really matters. And I mean, eventually the team that's less gassed and the defense that has more energy and fresh legs is going to win the game most of the time. And I think that's what we saw tonight. And I think
Yeah.
this defense has a lot of potential. I mean, you let 34 points get put on the board, but I mean, it's Russell Wilson. It doesn't matter who he plays against. He's going to do that. But the 3 interceptions were really key in this game. And I think the backups stepped up tonight as well as the starters, but some of them just, seemed like they didn't want to be there, like they were tired.
Right.
Like
And
Hicks, I don't know what happened to him.
Right, and I'm completely, agree with you there. I do have another super chat here from his dudeness number 2 with a $5 donation. Thank you so very much, my friend. Quick dab to you. I appreciate that. We got Bance back in the house. Let's go ahead and bring him back on. Here we go. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Thank you so much. I'm sorry the technical difficulties that we had, but no worries. Let's go ahead and just keep jumping on. Let's keep reading on comments. Now, guys, there is 460 people in here. I'm not able to get to every single comment. If you guys want to get your comment highlighted, please consider super chatting so I can go ahead and highlight it on here, and we can kind of go from there. But let's talk about Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake was definitely something that concerned me. I wanted to see more Chase Edmonds. Now, Bance, I was talking to you a little bit about this before we started our stream. I was all up on board and starting Chase. Let's start Chase. But I didn't want to see Kenyon Drake go down like he went down. I think it's obvious that he had a bad injury because he was carted off and he was wincing in pain. He had the towel over his head, most likely tears. And let's be honest here. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that's weak of him, because let's be honest, if I got hurt, I would be in tears too. So let me know your thoughts here. Do you think it's a bad injury, Bance? And if so, do you think Chase Edmonds can be the guy?
I think it could be a bad. You never know, especially being carted off, because like I tore my ACL and so like those are just injuries that you can't really notice. Like it can just be like a small, like even a bump or anything that can just tear ACL, which I'm hoping it's not that. It could be a meniscus problem, but him being carted off like and in tears, like it probably seems to be going that way, which it's rough, but he's able to come back from that. But like we do have Chase Edmonds and we do have that Arizona State running back, which
Eno
Benjamin. Yep.
Maybe we can start saying that now.
Yep. And so I'm hoping Eno can fill in that second spot. And even though Kenyon Drake, he's not shown so much production this season, but he does have the potential to do a lot. So I'm kind of like torn between like, do we really need him? But like we can see him doing a lot from last season and the last game. So I'm just hoping he comes back with a speedy recovery as quick as he can. But I think we're solid with Chase Edmonds and Eno. So
perfect. All right, Richie, did you, while watching this game, did you think, hey, it's time to put Chase Edmonds in? Because honestly, he was more explosive, not just out of the backfield, but catching balls as well and making things happen. What do you think, man? What was your opinion? It's definitely unfortunate to see this injury, but what do you think?
I like to send my prayers out to I can't even think right now. Oh my God, Kenyon Drake. I mean, that injury looked really, really bad. I mean, I hope the best for him. I wish him a speedy recovery. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think Chase Edmonds should have been getting more snaps because he's just more, in my opinion, when I watch the game, he looks more explosive. He looks
Yes.
more hungry. He looks like, all right, I want to be the starter on this team. He's just quicker, more explosive, and he's a better receiving back, which I think, we can all agree on that. When it comes to running, I mean, I feel like Kenyon Drake's more of like he's not really like as shifty as Chase Edmonds, and Chase Edmonds is quicker. And I think that showed out of the passing game tonight in the running game. Like he runs for every single yard. Like he fights hard and he runs. He doesn't go side to side and like do juke moves like Kenyon was doing a lot. Like Chase Edmonds just runs straight down and fights for all the yards, runs through tackles, even though he's not the biggest guy. And I'm really excited to see, I'd assume they're going to let Eno be the backup now. I mean, unless we just, we get someone from free agency, which would be really stupid. I mean, you drafted the guy. I mean, I don't know. I'm worried that they're actually going to do that, but I'm praying that Eno gets promoted to the backup because from watching him in Arizona State, being a Sun Devils fan, I mean, he is very good. He's shifty. He's kind of like Chase Edmonds a little bit, in my opinion, the way he runs.
They're both built similar. You know what I mean? I feel like
Eno's a little bit smaller, right?
Yeah, Eno's a little bit smaller, but I feel like he's more of a let me get in your face and just smack you down. Although he might not be able to do it because he's smaller, but he just has that mentality, and I really like that about Eno Benjamin. But we got one more super chat here from Tax 499. Simmons look natural. Will this be a stepping stone? Yes, I definitely think it'll be a step in the right direction. Just really depending on what Vance Joseph thinks is best for this defense, really. I mean, we've seen a magical moment from Isaiah Simmons, which everybody wants to see. You guys, everybody in the chat, all 503 people in here wanted to see something from Isaiah Simmons, our 8th overall pick. And this is exactly the type of games that we need, these plays from. And it's just really, really magical. It's just super excited about it. Overall, though, man, so do you guys know any Seahawk fans? Actually know them? I know, Vance, you do, right?
Yep. So, a lot of people. So I lived in the Seattle area for about a year, and I live in the Pacific Northwest for a lot of my life. I'm coming from Arizona, and it's just like Seahawks this, Seahawks that, and it's just So like my last 2 exes were Seahawks fans. So
no way.
So
terrible.
it was a rough house. When the games, wearing red and them wearing their ugly neon green.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Richie? Do you know any? I know you're in the East Coast, but do you know any Seahawk fans?
From New Jersey, I don't know any personally, but I mean, Seahawk fans are all around the country. I've seen, the place I work, I've seen people, come in and wear Seahawk stuff and all that. I feel like there's a lot of Seahawk bandwagons. I mean, there are some real fans, but dude, you're in New Jersey. Like, how are you a Seahawks fan? Like, where did that come from?
Right. When did you ever step in Washington?
Yeah,
that's pretty much
shouldn't
right.
you be a Giants or a Jets? I mean, I can understand if you don't want to be a Jets fan.
Yeah, nobody wants to be their fans right now. Man.
They get a pass. They get a pass. But
right,
anyway,
exactly.
I mean, I don't know any personally, but I see him around a lot.
Makes sense. So I actually have an uncle and aunt that are in Seattle. So we kind of text each other back and forth, and we have like a banter. And it was really finally good to finally say, hey, we won. So we got Joey in the house giving us a super chat, 199. He says Wildcats or Sun Devils. I mean, obviously, Sun Devils. I'm not sure about you, Richie, since okay, perfect, awesome.
So which is funny. I'm wearing an Oregon State because I went to that college, but I'm always a Sun Devils fan. And that's actually how I became more of a Cardinal fan. Like, I grew up in Arizona, but seeing Jake Plummer, just like, and just that his first years in Arizona, like at the Cardinals, like it was just like, okay, like I'm enjoying a lot of this. So that's what kind of like led to like me believing in the Cardinals.
I agree, man. I agree. Forks up, right? So I'm super glad that, and we have a few Wildcats in here, but I'm not even going to mention them right now. We have James Harden's beard, $5 donation. As a Seahawk fan, nothing but respect for you guys. Big win. Hey, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
That's amazing because there's a lot of people out there that come in here and try to talk all this different stuff, which most likely these national people are going to be like, well, if Seahawks did this, they would have won. They wouldn't. Let's be honest here, right? We're probably going to get that tomorrow once we turn on the TV, when we watch those people. For some, I don't know why I consistently watch it. It's like brainwash at this point, but
experts.
Yeah, these experts, exactly, that they think that they're reading off scripts and stuff like that. But anyways, big win from the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you so very much, James Harden's beard, with giving us a $5 donation. And being a Seahawk fan, you're really classy, man. Thank you so very much. So let's keep on going into this game, and this game had a lot of ups and downs. I think the biggest turning point for this game, and I'm going to ask you guys, so maybe start thinking about the biggest turning point in this game here. I honestly do think, there's so many of them. There's so many of them.
Exactly.
It was back and forth.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think that's a good question, honestly.
It's too many.
Yeah, okay, I have another question. Let's do this question. It's probably better. Kliff Kingsbury, let's talk about him a little bit. Now, he obviously went for the touchdown. We talked about that already. Bant says he should have took the points. Richie said maybe he should have, he did what he was right, whatever. The second thing I actually questioned him about was during overtime. I think it was like 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8, yep.
Something like that, right? And he decides to kick the field goal. Now, obviously, the timeout was called because of the delay of game that was going to go ahead and cause us. He made the field goal for a practice. I'm like, oh, cool. He's got the practice swing. Everything looks good. And then Zane Gonzalez misses the field goal. And I look to my wife. I'm like, the Cardinals deserve to lose. So
Same
keep in
here.
mind, I'm emotional. And that's the thing. The way that I watch football, and this is why my wife's like, are you happy? Are you sad? What's going on with you right now? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening right now. It's just an emotional ride. But would you guys have done that? Would you guys have gone for the field goal that early, since we had like 2 minutes and like 49 seconds left on the clock, 2nd and 8? Was it too early for Kliff Kingsbury to do that, or what do you guys think?
So I think I understand why he did that, because the play right before, because Kyler got blew up and then got sacked. What was it? It was, they just got a big drive, first down. There was a penalty. It was like 1st and 5. And then he got blew up for 3 yards. So it became 2nd and 8. And it was, so I understand, like I said earlier, because Kliff plays off fear, which is not good. And so he thought, okay, we're close enough. We can make this field goal. Might as well just end the game right now.
Right.
And I think he should have just ran it a little, but like Zane was wide left. If we would have ran the ball, even just like got 3 more yards and then put the pylon on the right side, it would have been a lot better for Zane Gonzalez to make that kick.
I agree.
And in history, Zane is never better on the second swing. He's always better on the first one.
Right.
I don't know why, on that delay. If it would have been a delay game, just go for the run and then kick it after that.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. And what about you, Richie? What you got, man? Would you have gone for that that early, or would you try to get a little closer?
I don't agree with the call at all. I understand why he did it. As the point was brought up, like Kyler Murray took a huge hit the play before. So I'm guessing maybe he doesn't want, Kyler Murray to take any hits. But if you don't want that, just hand the ball off. Like it's not, even if it's a yard or two, just reset. And he also made a really questionable call. I think it was before we kicked the game tying field goal on 3rd down to pass the ball. I mean, I didn't quite get that. If you throw an interception, I personally, I thought that was a terrible call. Both of them.
When he threw it up for Kirk?
It wasn't a bad throw, but the call was terrible because, maybe you run it to get like 3 or 4 more yards, spike it so you're closer for the kick. But throwing the ball, the odds of completing that maybe aren't really that high at all. The interception odds are probably higher. I mean, that was a really stupid call on Kliff's part, and I think I can understand the second one, kicking it and just, not taking any chances of a fumble or anything like that. But I don't agree with it.
Right. And I completely agree with you, Richie. It seems like we're kind of on the same page with it. I agree also that deep shot to Kirk, because not only could it have been an interception, or it could have even been a pass interference for our offense. That could have pushed us back as well. You know what I mean? Too close for comfort. Obviously, if we're looking at that game, if you're going to give it up to the referees, they're probably going to choose offensive pass interference over defense, because let's just be honest here, sometimes I feel like it's favored over to the to that type of team. It's probably me just being a bitter Cardinal fan, because we don't get sometimes stuff like that. But we got another super chat here with Killer Ranger saying, first win in State Farm Stadium against the Seahawks. Man, it is amazing to finally say we can wake up tomorrow morning and say we beat the Seattle Seahawks in our own place. And you know how much flack I got for saying that? Like, I go onto this channel called the FTFN Network. I'm not sure if you guys follow it, but I've gotten so much stuff about it. Like, my God, he's puffing up his chest. He's doing all this and that. But honestly, bottom line, man, I ride and die with the Arizona Cardinals. I
Mm-hmm.
could be really, really upset in a terrible season like last year, but watching every second, and it's terrible because it eats at your soul. But you're always going to be there for that team, and I have just so much faith in Kyler Murray and what's going to happen. Do you guys think? I have a question for you guys. Do you guys think that Kliff Kingsbury is the answer? Obviously, we know Kyler Murray. We're sold. We love Kyler. We know what he can do. Do you think Kliff Kingsbury can be the head coach for the future of the Arizona Cardinals? Let's go with Richie first.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, this question could go either way because there's a decent argument on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe we might think he's better than he is because of, the past head coaches we've had have been so bad. But I mean, they've also been put in bad situations, so it's not all their fault.
Sure.
And I believe that Cliff's been put in a, decent place to succeed. He's gotten good pieces on offense with the DeAndre robbery, which was just insane. And also, even though the defense is Vance Joseph's, I mean, the defense highly affects the game, how he makes play calls on offense. And, picking up Devin Kennard, just making all these great moves, improve the defense. So I think he has the pieces to work with. And this year, I mean, the goal should be just to have a winning record, but I do think now the goal should be to make the playoffs. But anything short of 9 wins would be a disappointment. Even if we don't make the playoffs, 9-7, you can't really complain from what happened last year, improving to that. And, but I do think he is the answer for the future, and here's why. I mean, you see this team playing with more passion than they ever did, since we had Carson Palmer. You see this team just playing. They're hungry. They want to win. They want to prove all the media wrong. They want to prove this isn't the Arizona Cardinals like you've seen the last 2 or 3 years. Win or lose, we're going to go out with a fight. And if they would have lost tonight, I would have tipped my hat to Seattle. I would have been like, you know what? Great game. It was a great fought battle on both sides, but somebody's got to come out the loser, unless it ended in a tie, which could have also happened. That would have been do you remember the 6-6 tie? That was just
I remember it.
I do think Kliff is the answer. I do think he is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the answer too, Vance?
Yeah, I think he's the answer. I think a lot of people keep saying, "Oh, he's a washed-up coach" because of his college record. College is different from the NFL.
It is.
And then you have kids playing under your scheme, which is tough to get them on board. So I feel like being in the NFL is a good fit for Kliff because now you have experienced players that can play your complex scheme that he runs. His scheme is pretty complex, and he's, in my opinion, kind of a bit of a genius in some stuff, in his his playbook. Play calling is a little different. That's just his. I think that's again his fear, and then he's just over and analyzing everything. So he has a good playbook. Mm-hmm. He's worked under great people. I think he's worked under Bill. He was under Belichick. He's worked under. Who else has he worked under? I don't know, but he just runs a super unique offense. He's an offensive mind, and our last great coach, Bruce Arians, was also a great offensive mind, and he was a quarterback mentor like Kliff Kingsbury. So I think it's the perfect fit since Bruce Arians.
Okay, that's fair. I definitely respect that. We got another super chat here from Hudson Alexander with the $4.99 donation. Mistakes were made on both sides. Sure, Seahawks made mistakes, but we didn't convert on that pick by Buddha, plus the fumble and the missed field goal in OT. Yeah, I think we're always going to, I don't know, the whole not capitalizing on points for that amazing Buddha Baker interception and almost taking it back. And, we laugh, but because we see this image, with DK Metcalf just coming out of nowhere and the look of fear in Buddha Baker's eyes, what the heck is going on? How's this guy catching up to me? But man, it is disappointing. But I think the takeaway that we got to go ahead and say is that our defense did what we could against an amazing quarterback in Russell Wilson. Yes, we could have done better, obviously. Yes, Patrick Peterson could have done better. But I feel good about the state of this defense right now. There were some plays that I'm like, what's going on? What tackle? Why are we not wrapping up? Especially Carson seemed like he got contact, but he kept going, and he ended up going out of the game. And I think Carlos Hyde and I think a guy named Dallas came in, and the run game was never ever the same since Carson came out. I mean, there was some things that Hyde did, so I'll give him kudos for that. But when Carson was in there, it seemed like he was putting dominance in his run, and he did not get down at first contact, which is really frustrating to see. All right, guys. So let's go ahead. We got about 6 more minutes in the stream. Let's go ahead and just have like a real quick roundtable. What do you guys want to bring up here? Unless we get another super chat here, what do you guys have to say? I know obviously this is an amazing win. I don't know if either of you guys go to work or school tomorrow, but hopefully you guys can walk in proud, kind of walking in like with your arms swinging, like everything's looking good. But what are your guys' plans for tomorrow?
So tomorrow, I mean, not much. I mean, so my current job is a photographer, so I work on my own schedule. So
Sweet.
Oh, nice.
So there's that. But like right now, I'm currently visiting the Pacific Northwest, so it's kind of funny. Like I'm now in Seahawk territory. Like I just came from Arizona. Now I'm visiting here, so I'm gonna walk around, probably seeing a lot of sad Seahawk fans.
Oh yeah, please wear a Cardinals jersey if
That's
you have
great.
one, friend. Please do. We do got another super chat in here. I'm gonna say the last name Mayton. Hopefully I said that name right. Has Buda Baker proven his worth, his big contract? Yes,
Yep.
Absolutely, man.
100%.
100%, right?
Yep.
Here's
So,
one
like-
thing that I'm sorry, go ahead.
So like it's funny because like I think before we started the stream, I was talking about how like the announcer said that he's like compared to Troy Polamalu, which hurts me because of the Super Bowl. But it's good to see a player like Troy Polamalu now on the Cardinals. So it's just like it's super awesome to see. Like I think he's definitely worth all the money that we give him.
Yeah, and let me just bring this up here real quick. The fact that how soft we were playing on defense for like that first half, and even in the third quarter, like until I guess Vance Joseph really realized like Trey Kirkpatrick is not the answer. Like he's constantly getting burned
Yep.
and burned and burned. And it's to wide receivers like David Moore. It was really terrible to watch. Honestly, I was like, put Kevin Peterson in at this point to see what he has, because I was tired of seeing Drake Kirkpatrick constantly getting beat. But I think a light bulb went off for Vance Joseph, and he was like, what if we do kind of like a game plan against like what we had against the Cowboys, and have Buda Baker blitz. Once that happened, the defense changed dramatically. Now, obviously, they still scored points on us, but it was harder for the Seahawks to make those points on there. So kudos to, I guess, adjusting to Vance Joseph a little. I don't know. I'm not going to say too late because we won, but hopefully it's a little earlier in the future, because next we have our bye week, obviously, right?
Mhm.
And then after that, we have Tua Tagovailoa coming in with the Miami Dolphins, guys. I'm excited. And I'm not going to say I don't fear them, but I'm really excited to see what Tua does. And I know their defense is pretty good there too, so I'm not going to go ahead and say anything about them. But yeah, super, super excited about it. So yeah, let's give some game balls out. I know we gave MVP, but I was only designated you guys to like defense. If you were to give one game ball out there, we got Mark Jackson said, who gets game balls? Give me your game ball. Let's go ahead and start up with Bance.
Ooh, game ball. That's a tough one. A lot of people played super well.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a tough one.
Offense, defense, special teams, anybody.
Damn, because Kyler played super well. Defense. A lot of people on defense played super well. It was just a great game. So I think I'm gonna give my game ball to Hassan Reddick still.
Love it.
He played lights out for sure.
Okay, perfect. All right, and let's see, Richie, what you got, man? Who's your game ball? Offense, defense, special teams, doesn't matter.
I'm gonna give this the game ball. A lot of people might not agree with this, but I'm gonna give it to Larry Fitzgerald because of one reason only. If you saw the play, I believe it was the game tying field goal, how he runs over, grabs the ball and gets it set up for, to spike it. If he doesn't do that, who knows if we get that snap off, the game might have been over. I mean, he might have not put up the greatest numbers, and he doesn't put up great numbers anymore, but he makes plays like that no one really no one's going to mention that, but those are the game winning plays that veterans like him and all-time greats are going to make. And I think just for that, I'll give him the game ball. I mean, that was a really big play in the game.
He still got 62 yards, which is insane for his age. So like, he played
he still
well.
had good numbers.
Yeah, and that's one thing that you got to give to Larry Fitzgerald, man. He's got that leadership down, man. He knows his head's everywhere, his mind's everywhere. I hope he stays with the Cardinals organization, not maybe as a player, but maybe front office, scouts, coach, GM, something along those lines. I would love to see Larry Fitzgerald to continue with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give my game ball out. It's going to probably be a cop out, but I'm going to have to say Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray went toe to toe with Russell Wilson, and who came up victorious?
Yeah,
Kyler Murray, man. And we're going to start seeing a lot of people out there maybe start seeing Kyler Murray in a different lights. So super exciting, guys. That's what I'm going to go ahead and give my game ball to. But yeah, man, thank you guys for joining on. It was a pleasure to talk to both of you guys. Hopefully we can get you back on a future stream. Just go ahead and DM me if you guys are interested. I know Richie's the second time he's been on here, but guys, keep in mind, who's ever here, the 499 people that are still on here, these guys are subscribers from the YouTube channel. If you guys are interested in becoming a part of, I guess, a roundtable, go ahead and DM me on Instagram, Twitter. Everything on the links should be on my past videos and stuff like that. So everything should be in my description. All right, guys, let's go ahead and just do one last thing here, man. Last thoughts on the Arizona Cardinal win 5-2. Go ahead and let's just talk real quick for the last 2 minutes.
So last thoughts, I think we look like the Baltimore Ravens right now, where we are destined to play well. Like we're going to do well this season from the looks of it. But I think next year is going to be a total game changer. I feel like we're going to be a team that everyone fears next year for sure.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Let's do this instead. Give me your prediction for the rest of the season. And I did this to Richie last week, and it might change. You can change it the way we played it. It's up to you. What do you think your prediction is for the rest of the season, Bance?
I think we're going to get 11 wins for sure.
Ooh-wee, love it. Richie, do you want to stick with yours that you had before, or you want to change it?
I believe the last stream I went with 10-6. But after this win, I mean, it's not only the fact that we won the game, but the way we won it. Yeah. I really think I'm teetering between 11 and 12. You know, I'll be optimistic. I'll go with 12. That might be too optimistic, but I mean, might as well. I mean, got nothing to lose.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's nobody going to say, hey, you said this, you're wrong. Actually, there's a lot of people that are going to say that. They me all the time on my videos. So
There will be.
Right. It's okay. Don't worry. It's all predictions. I'll go ahead and go with 11-5 as well, because this win is dominant, man. And we're going into the bye week and then playing against the Dolphins the week after. It's just good things from here on out. So thank you guys very, very much for being on the chat in the live stream. Do me one quick favor, every single one of you on the live stream, go ahead and put some fist bumps on the comments below. If you guys could just hang out just a little bit, I'm going to take you off the screen, but give me about like 2-3 minutes. I'll talk to you guys after the stream. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, thank you so very much for being on there. Put some fist bumps in the chat below. This has been a pleasure. The Arizona Cardinals are now sitting 5-2 on the record, and we beat the Seattle Seahawks being 5-0. This is super amazing. Really exciting about this game. Kyler Murray came out victorious. I'm not seeing any fist bumps in the chat here, so we're not leaving until we see fist bumps. I'm just kidding. That's not going to be me. Here we go. Now we're starting to come. I think I'm on a delay. All right, guys, that's all I got for this episode. Thank you so very much for tuning in, guys. Appreciate you.